I sat in the guard tower and wished I didn't. The view was lovely, but less lovely than it had been 6 months before. I had an abandoned school building to my left that I planned to rake with a 7.62 if I saw movement. No one had any business there, and someone on the roof could drop rounds over our Hescos. I had a wide open field to my right, and I mostly ignored that, because what kind of retarded Taliban would charge a kilometer without cover to breach a wall? Down below me to my front was where things happened. There was a T intersection about 20 meters below me, where two of the roads that head into town met up to enter our base. The intersection was guarded by a team of ANSF, all set up with a roadblock. They had a dingy little white building by the side of the road that they ate and slept and possibly fucked in all day long. Foot traffic would trudge on by below me, and I'd watch and try to stay alert. I was grievously disappointed in my war thus far. I had joined to see blood. So far, it was field days and formations. My first deployment. I was too boot to be trusted in a fight, so they kept me away from the explosive areas. But I had hardened and sharpened up in the last year and a half. I had gotten comfy with violence, accepted the risk of death and dismemberment, trained and drilled till my mind and body hurt. I had the wish. I wanted my war. And they brought me to the most peaceful section of Afghanistan they could find. A big-ass air base with modern plumbing, hot showers, good chow, and no contact. We pulled security for MARSOC guys who were packing up their shit to grab a flight home, and I sat in my shack and tried to stay dangerous. One day, just before the 4th of July, I remember because they bought a cow from the locals and cooked that fucker up to make steaks that night. I saw 3 kids playing near the ANSF checkpoint below me. I watched them, because nothing else in my field of view was even moving. That's how dull my shift was. They were fucking around in the ditches on either side of the road, maybe 10 to 20 meters from the concrete roadblock, playing whatever games Pashtun 6-year-olds play. One of them reached into his waistband and pulled out a black pistol. My mind hesitated and said, "Oh shit, what?" But my body reacted. I slammed myself below the shoulder thing that goes up on the 240 and gripped the charging handle. My mind caught up as time slowed down. I started thinking very quickly as I brought the scope down to find the target. The shooter was flanked by the other 2 kids. If I sprayed him, odds were good that I'd nail them too. I couldn't figure out on the spot if I really actually cared or not, or if I merely wanted to avoid an investigation. Nonetheless, I considered dropping the 240 and grabbing my rifle, but then I'd have to twist the red dot on and fuck, it would take too much time. The kid with the handgun pointed it at his friend's head and pulled the trigger 3 times. They laughed and kept playing. The sun blazed down. The wind picked up and felt nice. The ANSF guys were drinking tea and popping Haji squats near their shack. I hyperventilated and gripped the charging handle, trying to process what the fuck had just happened. "Oh, you little fuck," I heard myself say. "We kill American kids for that shit. What do you think we'll do to you? You're brown." The words were not planned, or affected, or filtered. A decade of deliberately offensive humor and 2.5 years hanging out with infantrymen and medics and fisters had taken its toll. This is why I can't hang out with my liberal sister's college friends. I can't make them understand. I can and have told them the story, and I told it well, but they thought it was a horror story. I can't get them to understand how god-awful funny it had been at the moment that I had almost killed children for no damn reason. After the awesome steaks and the near bear with the shitty country songs of the 4th of July dinner, I wandered off behind the gym to talk to myself, to process what had just happened. It would be pointless to tell you what I said to myself. For one thing, I talked for an hour and I tended to return to the core themes multiple times. I laughed a lot, I swore a lot, and I relived my death grip on the charging handle a lot. I thought and paced and punched Hesco wire and philosophized a lot. I remembered the little Pashtun fuckers laughing the same way I used to laugh when I was their age. I would play San Juan Hill in my front yard, charging up my lawn to the porch with a fake rifle in my hands as I died gloriously over and over and over. I remembered what dead men looked and felt like from my last deployment, and I could imagine those ANSF guys stretched out in the sun with their brains scattered across the dirt. At the end of it, I wasn't there anymore. The idiot who walked up the stairs of the guard tower that morning was dead. I had erased him and installed myself in his place. I wasn't sure exactly who I was, but I knew that I could kill a child on demand if the need ever arose. It's been only 4 years since that day. It feels like 40.